Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to work on this little journal again. This is the one that we used just the scraps of paper, and we cut out little squares and put on here. This is from this paper was from the August E-Club kit. Then we put the burlap and lace down the spine, and on the inside we used book pages. We collaged it with our Collage Podge. And then I put a little distressing ink color in there to make it a little bit darker, because these book pages weren't quite as dark as I wanted them. So I'm trying to get my signature ready to go in there, and I've got a few pages here. That's our stacked pockets. I got to make cards for those. And then this is one of the pockets that we made that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pockets on there, I think. And I'm going to show you how to attach these two so that this can be your spine part, and you can attach it to another page. I'll show you how to do that. There's one we made out of just book pages, and another one we made out of book pages. So now what I want to do is I want to use this file folder, and I want to make an insert for my journal using this file folder. So I'm going to just mark the height where I need to get the height from. And I think we'll cut that off first. Let me look. You know, I could probably just cut it off right here. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit shorter than my other pages. But I'm just going to do a file folder insert for my journal. So let's see what we got here. Let's cut it right there maybe. And we can definitely use that part, so we won't throw that away. Then for the width, I don't want to really cut the width down any, but I do have this little piece right here that I want to get rid of, because it's going to hinder me a little bit, I'm afraid. So we're just going to cut that off. And it's just a little scrap or a little piece. And then these two pieces are different lengths, which is not going to matter because we're going to be doing some folding. So let's see how wide we actually do need it. It doesn't need to be any wider than this. So I'm just putting a little mark right there. And we will definitely cover this with paper, so don't worry about that. I'm going to see if I can fold it right where I marked it. And this will be definitely a different insert than probably you have seen before. Let's see. Okay. Then, what do I want? I think I want this one folded over. And again, I'm not going to worry about getting it the right width or height or anything like that. I'm just going to fold it where I think I want it folded. Okay. So that's going to fold up like that. Well, I almost folded on identical, didn't I? Let's move this one over a little bit more. It doesn't have to be, but since I've got that close, I don't want just that little bit sticking out there. Sorry, I was off camera there. Okay, now, I don't mind the back being a little bit shorter than the front part. That's good. Okay, I don't have this folded exactly straight, I don't think. I'm just going to hold that down and then do my bone folder. There we go. We don't want any of that sticking out up there at the top. Okay, so that is our little insert so far. Let's see what that would look like. Yeah, that'll work. It doesn't have to be as tall as the other one. Now what we're going to do is, alright, I'm going to have that piece back that way for a moment, and then I need to get some more paper because I'm going to do something right here, and this is not going to be, let's see, there. Yeah, maybe this will be big enough. I don't know after I fold it over. Let's do it. I'm looking at something, so hold on. I'll show you what I'm about to do, hopefully. Oops. First off, you need to hold that nice and tight, Edith. Let's see. Yeah, that's my width right there. And I need to cut this in half. Now this can be made different sizes. You don't have to make it shorter than your pages like I did. I just didn't mind it being shorter, and I wanted those little odd pieces cut off. Okay. I don't have to erase that. I don't know why I'm doing it, because I am going to be putting paper over this anyway. I'll mark where that is. It may need to be trimmed off a tiny little bit. Yeah, let's trim both of them off just a hair, because it's a little bit too long for what I need. There we go. Oh yeah, that's going to work better. Now on each end of this, I need to score. So I'm just going to grab my little scoreboard. And I'm going to score probably at just 3/8 of an inch, maybe. I think that will be plenty enough. So 3/8 right there. Make sure I got that straight. There we go. And then 3/8 on this one. Whoops. You know, it really helps if you score on the right side. I didn't score on the right side. Don't score on the short side, score on the long side. So 1, 2, 3. Let's score right there. I don't know what I was doing. I make this stuff up as I go along, so you know, it is what it is. This is just me making things up. Okay. See if this works now. Okay, if we take that and put it there, yes, it's going to fit inside those. And if we take this one and put it down here, okay, yep, it fits inside those score lines, I think. Let me do it like this. And if I need to trim it off again, I can. But I want to, yeah, I'm going to trim it off just a little bit more, because I want it to make sure that it is inside the score lines and doesn't hinder them any. So I'm going to trim just a little bit. And you're going to need, I could give you measurements for all of this, but my measurements may not be what your journal is. So you need to measure your journal and then go by that, rather than me giving you sizes. I can give you the size of what I'm making, but it's not going to guarantee that it's going to fit in your journal. That's going to go there. That's going to go there. So they almost meet. That's good. Almost. It's got just a hair line in between them, and that's what we want. Okay. So those are going to lay there, but I need 2 more short pieces for here and here. Hold on, let me grab. Okay, I had to actually get another file folder because I used all of that one except a little piece, and it's not big enough. So that's okay. These are just scraps. We don't use these long ones anymore. So it works fine. Now let's see. I need a probably that much. Probably that much. Like I said, I'll tell you what some of these sizes are when I finish, but right now just bear with me. And if you want to craft along with me, you can just go right along and make one the size that you want it. You know, I'm making up these measurements as I'm going, so it's not any kind of science to this. Now let's see if this is going to be the right size. Yes, it is. So all I have to do is cut this in half. And why do I always cut with my scissors when my cutters are right here, and I can get it straight if I cut it with my cutter. Okay, now then, all right. Now these we're going to score as well, but we're going to score these at, let's see, 3/8, I think. 1, 2, 3, right there, 3/8. And then this one at 3/8, like that. And then I just like to go ahead and cut this little edge right here. It just takes out some of the bulk. Plus, if you're going to put anything in there, it keeps it from hanging on those little pieces. Alright, we should go ahead and fold these and burnish. And then we should be ready to start putting some things together. Now you could probably make this out of just regular scrapbook paper if you wanted to. I have quite a few of these file folders, so I thought, why not use them? Why not find some use for them and use them up? Okay. Now what I'm going to do, since it's hard for me to see some of these score lines, just because my eyes are so bad, I'm going to put a little ink on them. I would have done this anyway, but we'll just do it now so that I can see. So now I can see my lines. And then we want to ink these pieces up as well. Alright, before I ink those pieces up, I need to do one more thing. I don't know if I want to cut these sides at an angle or if I just want to round them. What do I want to do? I want to cut them at a little bit of an angle. So let's get our pen. Let's grab our ruler. And I'm not going to cut them very much at an angle, just about like that. And that is, let's see what I'm cutting off. That's about 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do is, and you could put this back on your trimmer and trim it. Usually I can follow a pencil line, usually. So I'm going to cut that one, and then I'm going to flip it over and cut this one, kind of like you're cutting a tag. Oops, got my scissors hung. Okay, that looks about right. And then on this one, I'm going to cut it the same way. So I'm just going to put this down on top of that one and then just cut. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to glue that down, but I'm going to ink everything first, and I'm just going to cut the inking out because you guys do not need to see me do that, because some of you don't ink, and that's fine if you don't. But I'm going to go ahead and ink all of my pieces first, and then I'll glue everything down. Alright, so this is going to be my spine piece where I stitch this into the signature. And this is not a very thick file folder, so it's not going to put a lot of extra bulk in there. But we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it right there. And it's not the exact height, but I'm just going to center it up. This is our little piece that we're going to glue with. So what you want to do is put some glue on here. And you want to bring it close to that score line, but not on it. So just bring it kind of close. I've got it maybe a 1/16 of an inch away from the score line. Whoa, did you see my bone folder take a mind of its own and just run right up under there? It did that. Okay, so there's that one down. And then we're going to put this one down over here, like that. I hope I do this right. If I don't, you're not going to be seeing this video. And I don't really know what's right. I just hope I make it to where it's going to work in my journal. It's going to be looking like something. Okay, got that there. Right, it's coming together. And now this is going to go right up here like this. And you can see it's not the complete width either, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be. I don't care that much about that at all. So we're going to glue that right there, but that's going to be glued on the outside, on the back side, because we want it to, this little flap to not interfere with our other little flap fold overs. So put that on there like that. There we go. Okay. And then this one is going to go down here like that. And I just want to even them up, get them in the right spot. And that looks good right there. I'm just going to hold that nice and tight up against the edge of that paper and then put my glue in there. So there is part of a pocket. It'll open up like this and like this, and you can put all kinds of stuff in here. But we're also going to put a little pocket right here once we get this covered with paper. So that goes that way, that way. And then we're going to put little buttons or something here to attach it together. And then this piece will actually fold over the top of that. And we can put some little pockets or something on this as well. And then over here, this is going to fold over like that to make a pocket tuck under here. And then we may put some little pockets or something on the outside here. I don't know on that yet. But right now that is the way it goes. And then we need to start covering with paper. Now I'm going to use some of our new paper from Dress My Crafts. And this is Vintage Saga. I'm going to use some of this to cover my journal with. I just think it's so pretty. Man, which one do I want on the outside? Wow, they're all so pretty. I think I may want, I may want that one on the outside. Okay, let's tear that out. And then on the inside, what shall we do? Let's put some of that on the inside. And maybe a little of that. I don't know, we might just tear all these pages out. See what else is back here. Oh, maybe a little bit of that. And look what a Brandon strip this has. A nice long one. Definitely be able to use that. Okay. And don't be surprised if your front cover comes off like mine did, because they didn't put a ton of glue up here, which is good. Normally they put so much glue there you can't even get it up your pages apart without tearing something. So I'm gonna put my top back in my glue just until I start getting these cut, because it's very humid here today, and if I don't, the glue will dry up. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut the Brandon strips off of these first, and then we'll come back and we'll start covering some of these places. Okay, just need to decide what I want down in here. Now, I don't want to use one of my really pretty pieces. And not that all of them are not pretty, but because a lot of this is going to be covered. So, I just want to use a piece of it. And I think this bottom piece will work fine. Right there. And right. Now keep in mind when you put this piece down that you definitely do not want it to go over your score lines, because you don't want anything to interfere with those folding over or these folding over. So just cut it just a little bit shy, which is what we did. And we're going to put that down in there, and I'm going to ink around it. This paper is really pretty inked. And you could use your pink Distress ink. I'm just going to use my brown. Okay, we're going to glue that down right there, just like that. I love making things like this. I like making my little clusters and pockets and things like that. But every now and then you want to make just something a little bit bigger project where you can cover something with paper and take something old and make it look new, or like make it look newer like you want it. I just think that's the fun part of crafting. Let me make sure now that I don't get it too close to anything. This is going to be the front of this little folio, so we want to put a really pretty piece on there. So I want to put this girl on there. And I'm just trying to cover as much of the file folder up as I can, but I don't have to cover it all because I can always go back and ink, and the inking's going to cover up anything that I don't want to show. Oh yes, that is going to be beautiful. Love it. And it's going to go with our journal too. We just used up scraps and now we're making more scraps. That's our cycle. Okay, that's going to get glued right there. That's the front part. You open it up. We're going to have to cover this right here with something. Let's just use that to cover that little part with. Okay, now this end is rounded, so we're going to round this one up here. Is that rounded enough? Yeah, that'll work. And then I'm going to round these corners on here so they'll match. That's going to go like that. Now I think these two scrap pieces that we've got right here are going to work on these little flaps. So what I'm going to do is fold this over and trace it. Let's see if I get all of my flour in there. Yes, that's going to work. So I'm just going to cut this, and I'm going to cut on the inside of the line that I made, so that way it'll be just a tiny bit shy. Alright, that's going to fit on there great. So then I'm going to make another one here out of this. And let's see. I think I want it to go upright like that. So I need to flip that over and cut it like that. Is that the way I need to cut it? You know, I normally cut these things wrong when I'm flipping them. I think so. We'll see. We shall see in a minute if that's right or wrong. Okay, that goes there. And that goes there. Alright. So we shall glue these pieces down. Right. We got that one down. So that is how that's going to look. I think that's pretty. Now we need to cover this. And I need to cut some for these little pieces. And over here. I may go ahead and cut my pieces and then we'll come back. That way the video won't be an hour and a half long. Alright, I don't know how I did it. Well, I do. I just cut it wrong. But I cut this one short. But I'm going to be putting a little pocket right here at the bottom anyway. So I just pushed it all the way up to the top. Okay, now I went ahead and as I cut these pieces, I glued them down. So there's that one and that one. I should have reversed this one and this one because I didn't notice I had a lot of music page there together, but that's okay. It's not a big problem. I'm going to put a tag here anyway. It's going to cover up most of that, and this is my little pocket that I'll put there. So I've covered everything, I think. And I'm going to put my pockets down now and then put the little buttons on here to attach my string to. Now I did go ahead and I took some of the scrap paper and I just rounded the corners, and that's going to be some tags or journaling cards, and they're just going to sit down in there. I didn't cover the inside of this because I think that's just wasted paper, but you could do that if you wanted to. So these are just two little pieces of paper, and it's cardstock that I have just glued together. I punched in a little circle and I glued those together, and I'm going to put one there and one here, and I'm going to use some little I'm going to use some little brads to go through the center of them. Keep those up a little bit off the paper so that I can put my string and everything around. Now I'm going to punch these, I think, at the same time, hopefully. See if I can get it somewhat near center. And that's going to be a challenge today. And I have not drawn for the $100 gift card from Amazon for our giveaway. I'll tell you the reason why. Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment with my eye doctor because I've told you guys I'm going to have cataract surgery. So they had to do a lot of extensive exams and things on my eyes. And lo and behold, I didn't get home until 6:30. And then my eyes were so dilated for so long that it was 9 o'clock before I could even see well enough. And I still can't see real good today. I'm still having a little bit of issue. But they told me that I would for a little while because I've got to also get adjusted to these glasses. Sure, because I haven't worn glasses in years and years. But you have to wear glasses for a while before you have your cataract surgery. So that is where I'm at right now. So no, I did not, and I don't think that was my mark right there either. No, it wasn't. I did not get a video up and announcing the winner, but we will try to get that done as soon as I finish this one. Yes, I did have to punch that hole twice, but I think I'll be able to cover it up, hopefully. Oh, it's just a chore. There we go. It covered up. And then this one, I haven't got the hole punched in it. You got to punch the hole first before you can do any good. Okay. But you know, if I never have to have anything else done except cataract surgery, I will count myself very, very blessed. There we go. That's in. And these are just two little brads that I've had in my stash who knows how long. And they've got little colored tops on them. I thought I might as well use them. I think I'm just going to use this green string again because we've got some green in here. And just put that under there, and we're going to tie a couple of knots. All right, and we're just going to weave that around, and I'll just give them a good push, and that tightens them down. All right, so that is done. Now we'll put this pocket on. I'm just going to put it right there. And I only cut these the width of the paper, not the file folder, because I figured I could just cover the paper part and it wouldn't look any different. If I cover the whole thing, it might look a little odd. So it's just the size of the mat, not the size of the file folder. So it just goes from the mat here to the mat there. And this is just flat pockets because I don't want to put dimension in here, because this is going to fold back up and then go in our insert for our pages. So I didn't want to put a lot of dimension in it. Okay, so there we go. We've got a pocket here and a pocket there. And then we've got that has the tags on the inside, or the journaling cards. And then this folds over. That folds over. And then there is the front. Isn't that cute? And it'll stitch in our signature right here. And you could go ahead and put some different things on here. You could even put another pocket here if you want to. Like I said, I didn't want to make it two-dimensional, so I think this is going to be plenty enough for me. But you can go ahead, you could even on this, open this up and put a little notepad or something there. I may just decorate that up. I don't know yet what I'll do with it. But I'm just going to add this to my little collection for my pages right here. So here are my page inserts so far. Now, someone said they wanted to see how I attach these pages, because these are the ones that we did where we have the pockets, but you don't have an extra page over here. So I'll show you how we're going to attach those in our signature. So let's just take this one and start with it. Now on the other side of this one, you know, I thought about adding this. This is that glycine bag that we covered with the Tim Holtz collage paper. I think that's very pretty. So I thought about adding that and put our attachment right down through there, and then we'd have a pocket on this side to tuck things in. It would stitch in the signature right here, and then we'd have all of these pockets on this side. So what do you think about that? They're not going to be side by side in the journal, so all right. So what are we going to attach it with? We can do it with a wide washi tape, we can do it with material, or we can do with just more paper. So let me think. Trying to think what I would like to use. I don't think I want to use washi tape, because once you punch a hole through washi tape, it's kind of, it makes it a little bit weak. But we do have, all right, I think I might use a piece of this. This came from one of you guys, I do believe. I don't think I bought this. And I'm not sure, this may be called ticking. I don't know what this is called. Stripe. It's just a stripe pattern, I guess. So let's cut a piece of this off, and we'll use that there. This will be pretty strong. I don't know if it'll tear that way or not. So let me just continue to roll this out on my desk. I don't think it'll tear across, but we'll see. Well, it does. Yes. Some material will not tear across the grain, but that one seems to work fine. Now, it didn't tear, well, it could have torn straight. It probably wasn't cut straight when the person cut it off the bolt. That's fine. We're not worried about the straightness, because all we're worried about is gluing this down. So I'm going to cut that little piece off right there, and then put that down through there like that, and I'll probably put another piece on the other side too, like that. I don't know, I want to tear it a little bit more, I think, on this side, because I feel like that side's a little bit off. And no, I will not throw that away. That'll go on some tags and things. Now I'm going to run my glue out just a little bit more, because I put a, a little bit more cloth on there than I really anticipated. So we're going to run it out a little bit further. Glue that down. And don't worry if it's straight or not, because that's going to be in the middle like that in a signature. So really you're not going to see very much of this at all. You may see the strings, but you're not going to see, which I'll probably end up cutting the strings off, because you know they bug me. But you're not going to see very much of that at all, so don't worry about that part. You could also stitch this on if you don't want to glue it down. You could stitch it on, but I think I'm just going to glue. Now I think on this side I'm going to try to tear this in half and see if I can get a smaller piece going here. There we go. Yeah, well, it widens out at the bottom. That just shows how it was cut, I guess. Or how I might have torn it, but alright, so let's just put that down there. Like I said, I'll probably end up cutting those strings off anyway, so I'm not even going to worry about them right now. When I start to stitch it in the signature, if I see they're going to show very much, I'll just cut them off. There we go. So that is nice and secure. Once that glue dries, that is going to be just as secure as if you had two pieces of paper that were already attached there. Okay. And then, like I said, when I start gluing this in, if those little strings bother me, I'll cut them off. But so there is one. See, it's attached, and this is the way we would put this in. Let's just say this is another page, a double page. If we wanted to put this one in there, we would just tuck this one in the middle, and then you have your page over here and your page over here, and right here is where you would stitch. So let's go ahead and attach these other ones, and let me see, what do I want to put on with this one? Okay, we've got a book page that has this Tim Holtz collage paper on it, so let's just use that. Now I'm going to go ahead and trim off this little piece right here on the edge because that is folded back there and it really doesn't have anything to attach to. So I'm going to cut that off so that I don't put glue on it. So there is that. And then I'm going to trim this side down a little bit. And I will try to remember to link the video below where we did these. They're very easy, and it's just using the collage paper that comes in this. This is the tapestry. No, typography. Typography, not tapestry. Okay, let's cut the bottom a little bit even too, because it's got a little bit of an overhang there. Okay. So that'll be a nice page to attach. Now, do we want to attach it this way? Yeah, I think I'll attach it this way. Now for this one, let's see. First we need to take that out because I don't want to glue that down. For this one, I think I will use paper to attach it with. But you need to use a really strong paper. You don't need to use anything that's real fragile. Like an old book page, you wouldn't want to put an old book page in here. So you need to use something that's kind of strong to attach this down. So I'm going to go to my little stash of papers here, see what I've got that might be long enough. Okay, I think we might have a paper in here that we could use. This is just some of my offcuts from when I do journals and I trim the pages. That's what this is. So let's see. That's a pretty thick paper. Let's use that. I think that will work. And let's see. I'm just going to tear it down. No need in bringing out the cutter when I can tear this. And I'm probably going to tear it at about maybe an inch. I want to have plenty of room on both sides. So I think an inch will work. Alright, and we'll put that back for stamping. Now what you want to do is, and I'm going to close this glue up because we don't have to use that glue unless we're using lace or fabric. What I want to do is run that right down through there like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and ink the sides of this and maybe a little bit even on the top, just for that part that might show when we start to stitch it in the signature. So, because I do make mine a little wider because I just want to make sure that I have plenty of room to glue with and plenty of room in my signatures. Now I don't put this all the way forced up together. I leave a little bit of space between the two. That way it has room to fold. So I'm going to hold it right there and run my glue down through here. Now I'm going to run my glue right at the edge, just about maybe 1/4 of an inch in, and then right up to the edge. And then on this one we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to run it down through there on top of that washi, maybe a little bit past it. I don't want to bring it in too far because I don't want it to interfere with my pockets and things. So let's try to put that back up there like that. Okay, then we're just going to lay this down right across there, and I'm going to press that down really well on there until that glue catches. There we go. Now you have got this much that really you don't need. You could trim that off if you want. I'm probably just going to leave mine. I don't mind if it flips up like that. That's not a biggie to me. On this side, I'll probably end up just going ahead and gluing it down because there's no pocket right there to interfere with it. I've got a little pocket right here, and I don't really want to interfere with that. So I'm just going to fold it back. That's what I'm going to do. Because once this is folded back, And once it's sewn in the signature, you're not going to see that little fold anyway. So we're just going to fold it back, and I'm going to add some glue. This is going to make it stronger. So see, that's going to stitch. Let me go ahead and fold it and I'll show you. Let's fold it up like it needs to be. Make sure I get it folded straight. There we go. So that is going to stitch in your signature right there, right at that little fold. So see, you're not going to be able to see where I folded that up, because it would go in like, let's just do this. Let's use another one let's use this one to put in the middle. Let's say we put that one in there, and then we open that up, and we would stitch down through here. Then when you flip this one over, all you can see is just a little bit of that paper right there. When you flip it over this way, you can see a little of that paper. So that, it's good with me right there. Now I am, let's see, am I going to put another piece on the back side? Let's see, I need to put some glue right there. I'm probably going to put a good sticky piece of washi on the back side, because I don't want it very wide, because this pocket comes all the way out to there. And let's see, let's try this one. I think this one's pretty sticky, and if not, we can always put a little glue under it. But let's put a little tiny glue down there. I just want this washi to come right where the line is that attaches these two together. Just so when we stitch, we'll go right through that line and right through the washi. So we'll spread it out like that. Put the washi down. And then I will make sure that I press that glue in really well, because you want to make sure that that glue spreads out under that washi. And there we go. And I'm going to trim these top pieces off right here. Little piece off. And the bottom. There we go. So that will fold either way. You can fold it back that way if you'd rather put it in your signature like this, or it'll fold this way. And I think I would probably put it in my signature like this. That's cute. Now I will probably do something else to this book page. I'm not sure what. I'm going to put that little piece back in there. Cute. I like that. Okay. So that's another one. That one's finished. We need to do that one. So let's find something else to glue on here to the edge. Now, this is where you can get creative. You can glue just about anything you want on here. If you have if you want to glue a paper bag on, you can do that. I don't think I want to put that one on, but let me find, I think I have an envelope that I'd like to glue on the edge of this. Okay, after looking at it, I think my envelope's going to be too big. Yes, it will be too big, so we can't use that one. But I did find this little paper bag over there that some items from Triple V Vintage came in when they sent me their goodies. So I'm going to use this little bag, and we can always put something on here too, but I'm just going to attach it first. Now I'm going to take my little mini file folder out, and I'll probably just attach this with washi, because I think the bag and everything's going to hold good, so I don't think I'm going to have to put any extra anything on it. Now this washi is very, very tacky. It's very sticky. So I'm going to just put it down. And when you stitch through this, I mean, it's nice and thick, so I don't think you're going to have a problem with it tearing. Just make sure that it's a good thickness and that it has a good tackiness to the back of it. You can even put two pieces on one side if you want. You've seen that one wasn't very straight, but that's okay. It's going to be in the signature, so I'm not too worried about it. So that's another way that you can attach them. Now we do have the fabric washi from Tim Holtz. That would be really good to attach them together with, because it's fabric. I mean, it's going to be nice and strong. See if I've got, do I have it in here? No, I don't have it right. Yeah, I do. There it is right there. So it is a fabric that has adhesive on it. Let me pull this off. I think I actually, there we go. So see, this is an adhesive on the back, and it's fabric, so that would be really good to attach it with. But and I just keep that around so that it'll keep it closed. So we have some of that in the store. If you want to grab some of that, that would be good to attach with. But that right there is going to work for that piece. So we're going to have a little paper bag on this side, and then there is that. And it would stitch in our signature just like, let's just say we put this one in there. It would stitch just like that. And there would be that and that. And then you go over to this side and you'd see that. That's how it's going to stitch in. All right, so that is those pockets. I need to get my signature ready for this journal, because there is that one, because I need to start getting all of this put in my little cover here. Okay, so we have that many so far, and I may end up having to trim a few of them off a little bit. I don't know. We'll see when we start adding the pages in. See that I think some of them are going to show just a tiny bit, so we may end up doing a little bit of trimming, and that's fine too. I don't mind doing that. But I'd rather go ahead and make them like this than to start trimming and then them be too short. I don't think any of these are going to be too long. No, because I measured those beforehand, but I may have to fold this little bag back, or I could just leave it sticking out. I don't mind something sticking out of my journals. Do you? I don't mind it. And see, that one we may have to trim off. But when we start adding our pages in there, we will trim them as needed. But I think those are going to be good for now. Alright, so this is the pages that I've chosen so far, but we need a few more pages to put in here, but they're going to have to be kind of thin because these pages are pretty thick with all the pockets and things. So I don't want to get too much bulkiness in here. So we're probably going to add just some digitals for the rest of the paper. So I think that's going to fit in there good. So let me grab some digitals and we'll put in here. Okay, we have a few more pages that I think I'll add in there. And most of these I think are from Betty. I just grabbed some that I thought would work with the colors. So we are going to trim these off. And then we can add those in. And we could just tear them, but I'm going to trim, I think. Okay, this is going to be my signature. Now, I am going to decide how I want to put this in here. And I've got 15 pages and then a few little pieces, and I'll show you those as I go. So I think I want this to be my front, the very first page that you see. Then, let's see, we might put this one in. And then maybe this one. And you just decide how you want your pages to go in. See, I've got some of these little pieces. This was out of an old ledger accounting book. Put that in there. We may end up having to fold that up, and if we do, that's fine. It's not a problem. Not a problem. Okay, and then I think I'll put that in there, but I think I'll fold this the opposite direction. Now, some of these are white on the back, and that's fine because I will end up decorating them a little bit anyway. I didn't print on both sides of my paper on these when I printed them. I think I'll put a book page in there. So, but that's okay. Like I said, we can always put something on the other side when we start putting this all together. Then this is out of an old book, notebook of some kind that someone gave me. Put that there, and then I think I'll put that in there. And maybe, let's see, what have I got left? Look through and see what I have left. Let's put that one next. It's got some blue in there. And maybe that one. It's got the ledger. And I might fold this one the opposite direction too. Just so we don't have a lot of white. Alright, we'll put this one next. And then I turn this one and I'm going to put that one in there. Maybe that one there. This one. And that one. And then I'm going to let's see. I think I'll let this one be my center. I don't think I counted this one, so I think I might leave that one out because this is going to be kind of chunky already. Let's see what we've got. If we add all of that in there, make sure that it's going to hold it. Because this is just a tiny, tiny journal. Yeah, that's going to hold it. Looks like it. Maybe one or two of the little pages might need a little trim or a fold, but that's okay. We can do that. Alright, I may take that one out of the center because when you put that bulk in the center, it tends to stick out a little bit further than the other. So we'll bring that bulk back here and see if that helps some. I think it will. Yeah, now all we need to do is trim off one of those other ones right there. I need to trim that piece right there, and that's just a plain paper. So we shall trim that one. Now let's see how that fits. We trimmed it a little bit. Yeah, it looks like that's going to fit down in there with no problem. So let's get our needle and we'll start stitching this in. But I don't want the middle to be white, so I am actually going to turn this one like that. And I had it upside down anyway, so a good thing I did turn it. So let me grab my needle and thread it and get all of that taken care of, and then we will put this little signature in. Alright, I hold mine up a little bit. Now I'm not going to measure the center of this, so I don't think there's really a need. And then this is just a little foam piece that I use to keep from punching into my table, and it helps everything go through too. I went ahead and clipped everything, so we've got it all clipped in, and now we just need to decide what thread. Well, you know, we've got green thread on the front side. Let's just use this. It's not going to show, I don't think, anyway, because we have that fabric and lace on the spine. I readjusted my camera a little bit. It had gotten, I think it shook down a little bit when I was doing some heavy duty cleaning yesterday. And I think I moved it. And I just looked up and realized that it looked like it was a little bit off kilter there, so I decided I better fix it. Now I go through the middle, and then with fabric it's a little bit hard to find that hole. So what I do is I go back in with my little tool here, poke my tool out there, and then as I pull that tool out, I just replace it with my needle, and usually it will follow it right up through there. Let's see if it does this time. There it is. There's our little needle. It's a little bit harder once you have the fabric on the outside, but you can do it. You can do it. I hope I got all those pages the right way up. Did I? I hope I did. And then I go all the way up to the top, and I go back through to the outside. Now this is a little bit more thickness, so I'm going to use the end of my little tool here to push my needle through. There we go. Then I go back up through the center. Now you just need to make sure that when you're going back up through the center, you don't split that thread. So let me find the opening. Normally I would do this before I put lace on the spine, but guess what? We didn't today. it can still be done. It's just a little bit more difficult. And I like to make my life difficult. Okay, now when you come back up through the center, just make sure that this tail and this tail are on opposite sides of this string that goes all the way down. That's what you want, because when you tie it, you're going to tie that string down. So let's trim that off. Yeah, I like to make my life difficult. You need to tighten it up just as much as you can. As much as possible. So I usually pull it a couple of different directions, and then I go and feel of the outside just to make sure that I'm getting it as tight as possible. Alright, so guess what happened? My thread broke. Can you believe that? That thread has been in my stash for a while, but I thought it was a lot stronger than that. I have used it to attach signatures before, and I've never had a problem. But this time it just decided that it was finished. Finished. Okay, we're just going to do that again. And you don't really have to see me do this, because you've seen me do these so many times. And if you're ever in doubt about how these are done, all you have to do is go to my channel and just type in stitching in signatures, and it should pull you up tons and tons of videos where I have stitched in the signatures. Okay, we should be able to get that through there with no problem, since we've been through one time already. There we go. Okay, this one shouldn't break. This is actually some hemp twine, so I guess I don't know my own strength. I pulled on that a couple of times and pow. Alright, we're going to tighten that one up, and it's nice and tight. And then you're just going to tie in a double knot. And like I said, make sure that your tails are on opposite sides. There we go. I may leave that hanging for a while. I don't know. So there is our signature in there. That is neat. I like that. Okay. And then our thread kind of matches our burlap there, so we don't have to worry about that showing. So then what I do is I just kind of go through and press down on my pages. You can wait and do this when you start adding pockets and things in here, but I usually go through this too. It doesn't only help me this way, but it also helps me realize that if I put anything upside down, I can go ahead and fix it right then before I start adding too much too. So there's our little pocket there. There. See, I've got a lot of pages that are blank on the back, and like I said, we will add some things on those, or I may even color on some of them, watercolor on some of them, spray some of them, who knows. We'll do lots of different things to them. There's the center, so I like that. Okay, got that. That one's got a little bit of fuzz on it. Now I did trim some of these pages down a little bit. And you can always do that. You don't have to leave them. If you've got one sticking out and you want to trim it, you don't want to fold it, just go ahead and do it before you stitch your signature in. I don't mind the little jagged and frayed edges anyway on my paper, but you know, if you do, then don't do that. Okay, there it is. There's our signature stitched in that little journal. Now, it looks kind of small right now, but once we add pockets and things to this, it's going to get chunky. So what I'm going to do right now is, and this is what I like to do, and just kind of leave them sitting overnight. I just do that, and I leave it sitting overnight, and then I work on it the next day and start adding all my pockets and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that's all that we're going to do on this today, but we will come back to it. So don't be afraid that we're not going to come back. We will. We'll come back to it and figure out what we're going to decorate the inside with. I've got some different ideas on some pages and pockets and things that I think will be interesting. So make sure that you tune in for that. So we will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Bye-bye.